But do unmute yourselves if you have any questions you wish to ask. And there'll be a couple of polls, one or two polls, I think, coming up where you'll have the opportunity to answer. But let me start by sharing my screen with you. As I mentioned, I wanted to start by looking at a hand from last Thursday. So if you played last Thursday evening, this was board 2, and I thought I'd look at this hand because anytime I see a hand where perhaps most declarers don't make the most of the hand, I think it's worth looking at to see where people went wrong. And let's have a look at this one. As you can see, it was generally played in 3 spades or 4 spades. Although if you look at the traveller here, you can see that most people did not make 10 tricks. The computer's analysis here, that little 4 there, means that they say that declarer could have made 4 spades, but most declarers did not. So I thought I'd have a look at this being played in a few different ways and see what went wrong or what went right. So let's have a look at this hand. This is, I'm going to start with how I think it should have gone. And the bidding, I think, should be 1 spade, 2 hearts, 2 spades, and then 4 spades. And South, I was expecting here to lead the Jack of Diamonds. Top of a sequence is the Jack of Diamonds turns out to be the top of a sequence. And let's just have a look at this hand and see if you can make a plan on this hand. Now, when you're playing in a suit contract, you can analyze the hand in a couple of different ways. You can try and count your winners, and often it's more useful to try and count your losers. But let's try and do both on this hand. If we count our winners, we'll see we've got all those spades, which is 6 tricks there. We've got the ace of hearts and the ace of diamonds. So that seems to come to 8 definite top tricks there. And we might make a trick, I suppose, with the queen of diamonds, although if they've led the top of a sequence, the Jack of Diamonds, it probably means the king is in the north hand and we're not going to make a trick there. So if we don't, that's 8 tricks. And how are we going to make 2 more tricks? Would anyone like to suggest a way of making 2 more tricks?
A trumping.
Hard.
Okay, by trumping what?
Hard.
Trumping hearts.
Yes.
Okay, any other thoughts?
Trumping two clubs.
Trumping 2 clubs. Yeah. I mean, trumping 2 hearts is something we can probably do, but trumping in the long hand, trumping in the east hand, will not generally give you any extra tricks. The only purpose on this hand is it could be a good idea to try to trump hearts, but only with the goal of establishing the hearts. So if you could ruff enough hearts that the suit becomes established, and that will depend partly how the suit divides, you might be able to make extra tricks by ruffing the hearts. The ruffing of the hearts does not lead to any extra tricks in itself, but you may make extra tricks because the suit becomes established, and you may make a number of heart tricks. The other option that was mentioned is to ruff clubs. And ruffing clubs, you're ruffing in the short hand. And yes, if I can ruff 2 clubs, I will make 2 extra tricks because I've still got all the 6 spades I'm going to make plus 2 more if I can ruff 2 more. So if you find it easier to count your winners on this hand, by all means do. The other way of looking at it, which will lead to a similar result, is to look at your losers. And if I look at my losers, I look at the losers from the point of view of the hand with the long trump suit, which is east, of course, and I can see I've got all these club losers. But if I could ruff twice, then instead of having 3 losers there, I would only have 1 loser. And in diamonds, if I've got 2 possible losers here, so if I may try the diamond finesse at some point, but I may lose 2 diamonds and the clubs. And equally, by ruffing 2 clubs here, I'm hoping I'll only lose 2 diamonds and 1 club, and therefore make my contract. So that's the main way to try and approach this hand, by ruffing clubs. We'll see in a minute that some people did try and ruff hearts, and it's not always successful. There was one case where it was successful, but in general, it's not the goal, not the way to make it. This is how I think this hand should be played. They've led the Jack of Diamonds, and you've got immediate choice of whether to play the ace or the queen here. Now, if you remember, if you attended last week's lesson, it was all about situations where the defense, upon seeing dummy, might decide to draw trumps. And this is such a situation because there's a singleton club in dummy. So it's probably a good idea to play the ace here so the opponents don't get a chance to win this trick and draw trumps. So what I'm going to do is win the ace here, and immediately I'm going to play clubs. I'm not going to touch trumps because I need 2 trumps to ruff the 2 of the clubs that I've got. So I'm going to play a club here. North wins that one with the 10. And what suit would you think North might lead back here? Any thoughts?
A spade.
Yeah, if they were listening to the lesson and having seen dummy now, knowing they North would be thinking, why is Declarer doing this? Why is Declarer playing clubs instead of drawing trumps? And it must be because he's got some clubs here that he wants to ruff, and that's indeed the case. So North might well lead a spade, but you're ahead of the game now. You can win this one in your hand, play a club, ruff that one. Now what? Now you want to come back to your hand, say with the ace of hearts, so you can ruff that last club. And once you've done that, your contract should be secure. You should make 10 tricks. All you want to do now is get back to your hand so you can finish drawing trumps. And once the trumps are all gone, you're going to have to play the diamonds. You may hope that the King of Diamonds is in the south hand. It's not on this occasion. North wins it, is able to cash another diamond, but you've got the last trick and should make 10 tricks on this hand. Anyone have any comments or questions on this one? It was all really about ruffing those 2 clubs in dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't North then play the diamond? Because they know they can win the king. When they got in for the first time, wouldn't they play the King of Diamonds?
Well, that's a mistake if they do, because it's setting up the queen, right? So here, if North gets in with the 10 of clubs here, it's a mistake to lead the King of Diamonds because it establishes the queen in dummy. You can see the queen in dummy. So really, you should not play the King of Diamonds. No. All right? Do you see that? I mean, if you were desperate to take a trick and it was going to be the trick that would, defeat the contract, then that will be more attractive. But on this occasion, it's not. Okay. And although you get a trick, you don't want to give away. You're setting up the queen for Declare. Otherwise, the queen will never make a trick unless you lead diamonds now. So let's have a look at how this was played a couple of different times. This is one time it was played in 4 spades, and you can do the same analysis as I'm going to do here. The only thing is I've clicked here on Bridge Solver Online, and I brought up the hand. I've just removed the players' names because I don't want to embarrass anyone. But let's just see how this one was played a few different times. So this was played in 4 spades. You can see they went down 2, and this is how it went. They started off with the Jack of Diamonds, which is a good lead. Top of a sequence is an attractive lead in nearly all situations. It's much better than leading a heart or a club, I think. And it certainly helps in a situation like this, where your partner's got an honor and it may stop the queen from making a trick. So this is how this one went. This declarer played the ace, okay, and then they played a heart. And I know a lot of people think that playing hearts and then possibly being able to ruff hearts may help, but it really doesn't help in most situations. Now they started playing trumps, and you can see the computer saying that they can only make 9 tricks now if they lead a trump. The only way to make 10 tricks is to play a club here, which is what we had done earlier. So this is what they did. They played a round of trumps. They played a second round of trumps. And they played a third round of trumps. Now, obviously, you know there are hands where it's right to draw trumps, but this isn't it. Okay? They played the trumps. They've got no more trumps left in dummy, and then they sort of made it even easier for the defense by playing a club. So the defense got in and said, well, thank you very much for getting rid of the trumps in dummy, and just cashed as many clubs as they could. Okay. They played a heart here, which was ruffed, but at the end they're leading a diamond here, and if they played the queen, which lost to the king, and they're going to lose another diamond at the end here. So East-West ended up with just 8 tricks on this one. Basically, they didn't ruff any clubs, so they lost 3 clubs and 2 diamonds. Okay. Any comments or questions on that?
Hello, Tony.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that this computer calculation, they're not giving much importance. How much importance do you give to computer analysis? Because computers are computers.
So the analysis that the computer is showing you here is how many tricks you can make with various cards that you lead, and it is 100% correct. Okay. Now, the computer at some points will say, oh, if you lead this card, you'll it's the best card to lead, and that wouldn't be an obvious card to lead. So you have to use your judgment in conjunction with this. So, for example, on opening lead, this is another time it was played, the computer is saying that the best opening lead is one of these green cards for the defense, the 2 of spades, or the jack of diamonds, or the 10 diamonds, the 9 of diamonds, or the ace of clubs. But the right card to lead, in my opinion, is probably the jack of diamonds, not the 10 or the 9. That would be the wrong card. That would be saying you had a sequence headed by the 10, for example. And although it's saying that you could lead the ace of clubs, for example, I wouldn't normally lead the ace of clubs, in this situation, because you've got a much better lead, which is the top of the sequence. So I don't know if that answers your question. The computer analysis is 100% correct, saying what card will lead to what number of tricks, but you still have to use your
And judgment. What about the contract, do you think? Does it give the right contract?
No. I mean, all I'm doing here is I'm clicking on these play links, right? So and going through it and seeing how it was actually played. So you have to use your judgment about what the right contract is here.
Yeah.
Here, I think 4 spades is a good contract. And after 1 spade, 2 hearts, 2 spades, yes, I think West should bid 4 spades here, because he's got 3 card support for his partner. He's got 11 points, but he's got a singleton. And the other way of evaluating this hand is in terms of its number of losers, which is, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 losers. So that is, if your partner's a 7 loser hand, which they are, that should be enough for game. So again, I don't know if that answers your question, but yes, you should be in 4 spades, and yes, you should make it. This was another time it was played. 4 spades, it went down 1 here, Again, they made a good lead of the Jack of Diamonds. This time they played low, so the Jack of Diamonds won the trick. And can you see what South played now? South is now decided to switch to the Ace of Clubs. And I think that's a very dubious choice. First of all, having seen dummy, I would probably want to switch to a trump here or continue with diamonds. I mean, something is going on in diamonds. The fact that you won the first trick with the jack. So you would probably continue with diamonds or switch to a trump. Leading the Ace of Clubs, I think, is a very poor choice. That's what they did here. So they played a club. And now they did something better. They switched to a trump. So maybe they thought, Declarer now might be able to ruff clubs. But of course, they should never have cashed the Ace of Clubs. That just makes it easy for Declarer to ruff clubs. So they did something quite reasonable now, and then switched to a trump. Let's see what happens next. And now Declarer's doing quite well because they're about to play the 5 of clubs. You can see they're about to ruff. So they're going to ruff that one in dummy. So Declarer's doing all right here. They ruffed the 5 of clubs. But then they made the mistake of cashing the King of Spades. So now they won't be able to do any more ruffing of the clubs. So they ruffed once, in other words. Then they played the hearts. They took the ace. Declarer now drew the remaining trump and played a diamond. But, okay, they just took the ace here. They didn't try the finesse. They played a heart here, which they were able to ruff. It doesn't really help them much here. And all the trumps have gone. They're going to lose at the end. You can see those 2 minor suit losers they've got. So they led a club at the end, which lost. And then a diamond lost as well. So this Declarer did a little bit better. They made one more trick, basically by ruffing 1 club, but they failed to make 10 tricks there by ruffing 2 clubs.
So, Tony, can I ask you something, please?
Yep, please
Yeah,
do.
Tony, so it looks like the only way to make that contract is to ruff just the clubs.
Yes.
Yes, that's what you're telling us, aren't you?
Well, we'll look at it played one last time where, something else happened.
Okay, fine. Okay.
And it was this time here where they played it in 3 spades, and as you can see, they made +3.
Oh.
They made 12 tricks here. So let's just have a look at how that one went. Declarer played this very well, but actually the defense helped Declarer make even more tricks. So let's see how it went. They started off with a trump lead. So this, as I mentioned, was the topic of the lesson. Sometimes it's right to lead a trump. And that's what South did here. So they got off to quite a good lead, as it happens, which was a lead of a trump. So Declarer won that one, and Declarer started off well here by leading a club. Okay, so they led the 4 of clubs. And here, South made a very strange play, which was that they played the Ace of Clubs. Now, I don't know if they thought that Ace of Clubs was going to go away, but you can see dummy here. Dummy's got the 6 there, so there's absolutely no need to play the ace. Your partner's almost certainly got some high clubs, or if you wish, you can play the 8 or the 9, but definitely don't play the ace here. It's a complete waste there. And on another layout, it would help Declarer, make tricks. So don't play the ace there. Just play the 8 or the 9 if you like. So South won that one, and then South played the 6 of hearts. And again, I think that's not a good choice here. Why not leave the 6 of hearts here? Well, for one thing, you can see that long suit in dummy, and there's a possibility that if you lead hearts, you are helping Declarer set up that suit. And that's indeed what happened on this hand. A much better lead is to play the Jack of Diamonds, the top of a sequence. Even if Declarer's got the Ace, King, Queen, you're not really helping. You're not helping Declarer make any extra tricks. make those. So definitely play. The six of hearts is a very dubious play, and as you can see, the computer is saying it will lead to just one trick for the defense. That's what that one means, and that's indeed what happened on this hand. So they led the six of hearts. North played the 10, and Declarer, of course, won that one with the ace. And now Declarer is going to ruff club. So this Declarer played very well. They led a club here, and they ruffed the first one with the 7. Then they played a heart back to their hand. Okay, not really to gain any extra tricks, but just to get back so that they can ruff that last club, which they did with the King of Spades. It's all going well now, and in fact, what Declarer did now is they got back to their hand in order to draw trumps, and because the hearts divided evenly, the Jack and the King both fell, and now those hearts in dummy are established, and Declarer can get to them because they've still got the ace of diamonds. So because the defense didn't play diamonds, didn't knock out the ace, Declarer can now draw trumps. They drew the last trump, and then they were able to cross over to the ace of diamonds, and the hearts are now good. So that's how they were able to make 12 tricks. It shouldn't only make 12 tricks. It really needs a bit of help from the defense. Here, the defense helped by playing hearts and not playing diamonds. Anyone have any comments or questions on that?
Yeah, there must be another way of making it.
12
because
tricks.
no, there must be another way of making four,
Yeah.
four by playing the hearts. Because if, according to the computer, if the defense start leading trumps, then if they start leading trumps and then you try that same approach by playing a club and it gets taken by North, then they can lead another trump, and then you won't have enough trumps to trump your clubs.
Yeah.
So there must be another way of making it.
Yeah, yes. I think you're exactly right, Humphrey, and obviously you can try this yourself. You're right. If the opponents lead trumps and continue with trumps, then you won't be able to ruff twice. But in that case, on this particular layout, I think you can make your contract by establishing the hearts.
Indeed.
And but although that works on this occasion, it really only works because the hearts divided 3-3, and you're able to establish them. Ruffing clubs is a much better option, but as you say, if the opponents lead trumps, then that could be problematic. But but that's clearly the best option here, if you get the chance to ruff the two clubs. Let's have a look at so basically, that was, I think, one of the ones that really should have been made 10 tricks, unless the defense managed to find a very good defense. You should manage to make 10 tricks on that one. Let's have a look at a few more, and these are also on the same topic of ruffing in dummy. This was another hand that was played recently, and the suggested bidding on this one is 2 spades, 3 spades. 3 spades here is not inviting game, it's just raising the bidding to keep the opponents out of the auction. And let's suppose you end up in 3 spades, and suppose the opponents lead a diamond. Sorry, I just need to adjust things here. Suppose they lead a diamond. Let's have a look at this from Declarer's point of view. And can anyone tell me what a good plan is on this hand? Again, you can count your winners or you can count your losers. Here, if I count my losers, I think I can see I'm in danger of losing 2 diamonds, 2 clubs, and I hope I don't lose any spades. And I really want to try to avoid any heart losers. So how am I going to avoid the heart loser?
Discard it.
You're going to discard it on what?
Ruffing.
You're going to rough it, I think. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're going to cut it. As we were talking about.
perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's really the only way to make this. The opponents will when this was played, about half the declarers didn't make 9 tricks. They got held to 8 tricks there. But the opponents here can take 2 diamonds. They can take 2 clubs. If they lead another diamond or another club, here East actually roughs high. So you can over rough the 10 with your jack. And then I would just immediately play the hearts here so that I can rough. There's a very slight chance you could try drawing a round or 2 of trump, but you don't want to draw all 3 rounds or you won't be able to do any roughing. So you might just play the hearts. There's a minimal chance of a ruff here, but play that last heart, and once you've roughed that, then the contract is secure. You should make your 9 tricks there. It's just a simple matter of roughing a heart before you draw all the trumps. Okay. Any comments or questions on that? So really, if you're not managing to rough, do have a look at the hands again and see if you can figure out how to make hands like this. Here's another one I wanted to have a look at, and here we open 1 heart. Westover calls a spade. North bids 2 hearts, and we jump to game. And the opponents lead the king of spades. So we know West has got a long spade suit there, and your goal here is to make as many tricks as possible. And if I look at my losers, I think I'm hopefully not going to lose any clubs, not going to lose any diamonds, I'm not going to lose any hearts. I just have some spade losers. Okay, so I've got a poll for you coming up. It's the only poll tonight. You win that first trick with the ace of spades, and the poll for you is, after winning the ace of spades, what suit do you think declarer should play?
Can you go back a little bit?
Okay. Or I tell you, well, I can't really do it. You can end the poll yourself and relaunch it. Maybe I tell you what. I think I did that too quickly. Let me do it again. All right. Sorry. Have another think. Sorry about that. You've won the ace of spades, and now I'd like you to tell me in a poll. I didn't give you enough time to think about it, and I know sometimes the poll cut a couple of scripts. So have a think about this. Give you another 10 seconds or so, and see if you can tell me what suit you would play next.
Okay.
All right. I say, let's try this one. Okay. Here we go.
Can we answer too?
No.
Can't play 2.
That's cheating, playing 2 cards at once. Okay, we're up to 78%. Okay, we've mainly got the answers in. We've got a fairly divided answer. That's very interesting for me. Let me share the results with you. 24% have gone for spades, 21% went for hearts, 41% went for the diamond, and 15% said club. So very interesting result. Well, let's think about this. We can actually make 11 tricks on this hand if we can hold our spade losers to 2. We're going to lose 2 spades here at least, and the trick is to avoid losing 3 spades. So if on this hand we just draw trumps, we'll have spade losers at the end in our hand, and we're in danger of losing 3 of them. We're likely to lose 3 because we know West made an overcall, so they've certainly got a 5-card spade suit, and they'll be able to take 3 spades. The way to make this hand is to carry on in spades, because what we need to do, having won the first trick, is we've got 3 spade losers in our hand. But
sorry, Tony, to interrupt you, I can't see the cards because
okay. Sorry,
the pole's in the way.
Okay, let me have a look at the pole. Okay, okay. Thank you for telling me.
Thank you, Tony.
Right, yeah, sorry. So what we need to do on this hand is ruff a spade. We've got 3 spade losers in our hand, and if we just draw trumps, we'll lose those 3 spades because West has got a 5-card suit. So what we want to do here is play spades here, and our goal here is to ruff one of the spades, which will lead to 11 tricks. Now, you may think it's strange to play spades here because you're deliberately losing a trick, but it is the right thing to do. So what we're going to do, sorry, I'll just go back and go here. If I actually bring up the GIB button, and it actually says at this point I can lead anything, but really I should be aiming to ruff spades. So what I'm going to do is lead a spade. They're going to win that. I don't really care because I was always going to lose that one anyway. East discards, all right. They carry on. Yeah, they should switch to a heart here because they can see that for some reason, instead of drawing trumps, I'm playing spades. So I can win that one and play another spade. Okay, again, deliberately losing that one. But whatever the opponents do now, I think at this point, if I bring up the 4 hands, West has actually won that one. He doesn't have any more trumps to play. But whatever he does play, if he plays a diamond, for example, I can win that one. And now I'm going to ruff my last. Oh, sorry, I need to get back to my hand with the ace of clubs so I can ruff that last spade. And I'm going to be able to ruff high here. The jack of hearts has actually already gone, so I can ruff with the queen or the 10, and that is will avoid one more trick. Once I've done that, I will just draw trumps, come back to my hand, draw the opponent's last trumps, and be able to make 11 tricks here. So I thought this was an interesting one because people often don't really see on a hand like this that there is an opportunity to make an extra spade trick by ruffing. So it's another example of ruffing in the shorthand. And while you can cash your other tricks, your ace of clubs or your diamonds, it's really the spades you want to go for, and if eventually you should be able to make one extra trick by ruffing that last spade. Anyone have any comments or questions on that? I hope you're able to follow that. But yeah, that's basically your only good chance there to make an extra trick there. That ends the call for this evening. We've got the game starting in 7:30 as usual. Unless anyone here needs a partner, so if you need a partner, stay on the call. But for the rest of you, you can leave now and join the game, and I'll see you online at 7:30. So bye to everyone else. And if you need a partner, could you unmute yourselves and speak up now, please?
Hello,
Hello,
Tony, I need the partner.
Shobha.
Yeah, I
I mean, if somebody's looking for a partner, then I would quite like to play.
Good. That's a very polite way of putting it, Hilary. Is there anyone else? So, Shoba and Hilary, would you like to play together?
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank
So
you.
you can
Yeah,
just,
that's fine.
you can just meet on the some table, all right? Hilary,
Yeah.
what's your last name?
Kenworthy.
Kenworthy, right? Okay. All right. So I'll see you both online. Thank you all, everyone,
Thank you.
and we'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.